Good afternoon. I'm coming to you not live, but on a pre-recording, and I'm posting this pre-recording on Facebook, at least in part as a test, to make sure that you can hear me and you can understand me. Because if you tuned in last Sunday on Facebook Live, you discovered we weren't on Facebook Live last Sunday, and for that I apologize. We're working on our technological glitches, but until we get those glitches fixed, I will be pre-recording a message for you that will be broadcast on Facebook, not live, but pre-recorded, so at the very least, you will hear the message. And it's my hope and prayer that in the comments section on Facebook that you will let us know that you can hear this message fine. Until we get our glitches fixed, this is sort of the Band-Aid, if you will, but it's not the permanent solution. So thank you for your patience as we work out our glitches and work always to improve the quality of our sound and the quality of our recording, so you can at the very least hear what God has to say to us in His Word. I come to you with Isaiah 40, the New Revised Standard Version, beginning with the verse 3. A voice cries out, "In the wilderness prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill made low. The uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places a plain." The pioneers traveled across the prairie with no roads at all. Imagine the hardship they had to endure. But as they were enduring the hardship, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and all of those things that come with traveling on a Conestoga wagon across the unpaved prairie, they had one thing in mind, and that was the next generation who would follow them. And they went back and they put roads where roads once did not exist. And the next generation, those roads were improved upon. And the generation after, those roads were improved upon again. But it all began with that pioneering spirit and that enduring question that's passed on from generation to generation. How can my words, how can my actions, how can my deeds impact my children and my children's children who follow? If you look back, which we oftentimes do, you may notice that our ancestors were always looking forward, always looking to make life a little less miserable for their children, so they wouldn't have to endure many of the same hardships. It was their goal, if they could not go to college, that their kids would go to college. Or if they could not afford a home, that someday their kids would be able to purchase one. And we're always trying to make our children and our children's children's lives just a little bit better. It's important that we as the church do not lose sight of the fact that we too must have this same pioneering spirit. A pioneering spirit that endured for 4,000 years leading up to the coming of Jesus. God's prophets always had that pioneering spirit. And every time they spoke, they knew their words would impact not only their generation, but the generations to come. And it's important for us as the church to ask ourselves the question, how are we going to spread our legacy to the next generation? Will there be a church 2 generations from now? And if so, what will it look like? And how will we contribute to that church that has yet to be born? We who have benefited from traveling across roads that were paved for us. We look backwards and we say thank you. Thank you to our ancestors who moved forwards. Thank you for your sacrifices. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. Thank you for considering us. But it's also important for us to move forward, for us to ask ourselves the very same questions our ancestors asked. How are our words, how are our actions, how are our deeds going to impact the church that is yet to be born? Will our legacy live on from generation to generation? We take that pioneering spirit during this Advent season as we look at John the Baptist who prepared a way for the Lord. May we look forward to a future and prepare a way for our children. Amen.